Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to try canning salsa. So far I have only ever canned jelly. I've canned grape jelly, strawberry preserves, and pineapple jelly. So this is brand new to me. I'm using my water bath canner. I have a pot to make the salsa in. Sorry, it's a little bit blurry. I have a pot back here with my lids and rings in it. I need to turn that on so that can heat up and get those a little warm. Like I said, a pot for the salsa, my water bath canner with my jars. I put my jars in here. I'm going to fill it up with water in a minute and let it start to come to a boil to sterilize those jars. The lid to my canner. I'm going to be using the Mrs. Wages salsa mix recipe, both I guess you would call it. I've seen Heather from the Needy Homesteader, and I'm sorry if I get it wrong, but Freedom Homestead, I think her name is Tangi. I've also seen her make this, and both of them said that it was really good, so I decided to give it a try. It says that it makes 5 pints. That's probably blurry, but it says 5 pints. So I went ahead and got 6 jars ready just in case. For that, you need, show the back, just in case you're curious like I was. You're going to need, I'm not using fresh tomatoes, I'm using canned. It says 6 cans of the 14.5 petite diced regular tomatoes. This is what I have. I got the big jars, the 28-ounce petite diced tomatoes. I got 3 of those. I have some measuring cups because it also calls for vinegar. I have a dish to put vinegar in and to use the napkins to wipe the rims of my jars after we fill them. I have my magnet thing to get my lids and rings out of the water, a debubbler, my funnel, and this is the funnel. You can kind of see that. It has the measurements for your headspace. I have that. I have a spoon to stir the salsa, the thing for the lids, and a ladle to fill my lid or my jars. To get the lids, not the jars, not the lids. So I'm going to get my water bath canner filled up so it can start sterilizing my jars. I'm going to let the lids and rings come up to temperature a little bit. You don't want to boil them, but I do like to get them hot. A lot of people say you don't need to now. I like to. I guess it's a personal preference. And then we will start making the salsa probably after my jars boil for probably a good 10-15 minutes is what I like to do. So I'll be back after that. Okay, my water for my jars is finally, I don't know if you can tell, it's finally coming up to a simmer. So I'm going to put the lid on that so it can start to boil. My lids and rings there's a little bubble at the bottom of the pot. You don't want them to boil, so I've heard on YouTube. Like I said, this is my first time at salsa, but you do want to warm them. So I just have that on just under a 3, so hopefully that's enough but not too much. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on the salsa because it says that you need to bring it to a boil and then let it simmer for 10 minutes. So I think by the time this is ready to put in the jars, I think my jars will be ready. So, and can I just say, I had my doubts about this salsa, but I just opened it and smelled it and it smells fantastic. So hopefully it tastes as good as it smells. So 1 jar. Sorry guys, I'm trying to do this one-handed. My tripod did not work out. So we're going to have to get another one. But until then, this will have to do. Put a ahead and put this in. And then here is my third jar of tomatoes. And here will be the major test if I can move this vinegar without spilling it one-handed and using my left hand. Yay! Okay, so I have all the ingredients. I'm going to bring this up to a boil and then let it simmer for 10 minutes. And I will come back when this is ready and the jars are ready and we're ready to fill them. Okay, my jars finally came up to a boil. I had to switch the burners because this is like a power boil burner. That one was so slow. So I had to switch that, and then it finally came up to a boil. It's been boiling for a while. The salsa has been simmering. I moved the lids and rings back there. So I'm going to pull my jars out and get them filled up. Like I said, my tripod is not working out to where I can get it angled so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to have to fill them off camera. But the Mrs. Wages instructions, let's see. I can focus it for you. You probably can't see it, but it says to fill the jars with 1/2 inch of headspace. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fill them with 1/2 inch of headspace, and for my altitude I need to process this for 41 minutes. So I will get them filled, get them wiped off with vinegar, get them back in the canner, and then I will come back and show you before I lower the canner and start the 41-minute timer. Okay, I just got the jars filled to 1/2 inch headspace. I got exactly 5 like the recipe said, but it's always good to get an extra jar or 2 ready because you never know. So I'm going to get the lids and rings on and get them in the canner and get them processing for 41 minutes. Okay guys, I got my jars filled, and I think I forgot to mention I also debubbled them and wiped the rims off with vinegar. This is how much salsa was left, a tiny amount. I mean, basically nothing. But there is enough to taste, so I'm going to put it in a little container so my husband can taste that when he gets home. Like I said, the package says that it makes 5 pints. It's dirty now, I'm sorry. It says that it would make 5 pints, and it made exactly 5 pints with basically enough left over to taste. So that's perfect. I tasted it already. It has great flavor. I can see my husband and our oldest son liking it but wanting it a little spicier, so we might look into doing this again but adding in some habaneros because that's what they like. But Heather and Tangi were right. It has great flavor. I will link their videos down below of them making the salsa if I can find it. If not, I will at least put their channel links down below. If you are interested in canning, check them out. They have great videos, great information, and they're with great step-by-step instructions. Their channels are great. So like I said, for my elevation, my salsa needs to process for 41 minutes. It's been processing for just a little bit now. That's my husband. So I'm going to get this mess cleaned up and then come back to you when the salsa is finished. Alright guys, as you can see, my timer is about to go off. It has been almost 41 minutes, and the back of the package says to turn the heat off the canner, remove the lid, and let the jar sit for 5 minutes, and then remove them and let them sit in a cool undisturbed location for 12 to 24 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my timer off, and for just a second, and then I'm going to turn the canner off and remove the lid and set another timer for 5 minutes because I don't want to mess this up. So yes, I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes. But and then I will come back and show you when I take the jars out of the canner. Alright guys, there they are, 5 pints of Mrs. Wage's mild salsa. I waited 5 minutes after I turned the canner off and removed the lid. After the 5 minutes, I brought the rack up and immediately they started dinging. So I have 5 pints, all 5 sealed, and I am super excited about this. It looks delicious. Like I said earlier, it tastes great. I'm going to call this a success. The only thing I might do different next time is, like I said earlier, add in some habaneros so it's just a little spicier for my husband and our oldest son. But I will just mark this one as mild and then the next batch as hot. But like I said, this is definitely a success. If you've seen the mix in the store and you've wondered about it, if you've seen videos about it on YouTube, definitely give it a try. I really liked it. So if you tried, I hope you have success. I will link Heather and Tangi's channels down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.